have about a minute and a half still to set up if you need to set anything else up.
This is like, the other props are on my jacket and
Okay.
in my hand behind me.
Just so you know, we do have time. But when you're ready, just introduce yourself, tell us what your topic is, and then go ahead and start.
Yeah, my name is Julian, and this is a little thing about the sabotages of the Churchill Club, more specifically about their leader, who I'm trying to dress as. His name was Knud Pedersen. That's
Okay. So begin when you're ready.
Alright. Hi, mitt namn är Knud
Breathe.
Pedersen.
It's okay, just breathe.
Hi, my name is Knud Pedersen, and I'm here to tell you about how I inspired my fellow Danes and led them to believe that our country could be ours again in our darkest hour. I was born December 26th, 1925 in Denmark. I had a pretty normal childhood up until April 9th, 1940, when I was about 14, when the Nazis, via bomber planes, dropped propaganda leaflets all over Denmark, letting us know that they would either steal our country or we would simply give it to them. The leaflets looked a little bit like this. These friggin' Nazis. Anyway, and I was really grotesquely angry at what our leaders chose. They decided to give our country to the Nazis, while up north, the Norwegians were fighting and dying, trying to keep their freedom. But nevertheless, by the end of the day, there were 16,000 Germans in our territory, and nothing I could do about it. Yet. On Christmas of 1941, I gathered some like-minded classmates to form a resistance club, where we wanted to sabotage German assets around our area. We decided to name it the Churchill Club after a British leader that we really admired, Winston Churchill. Our first sabotages in January of 1942 were all in all pretty simple. We would ride up to Nazi directional signs on our bikes, and one of us would distract the guard that's protecting the sign. Another one of us would either twist it around to lead the Germans in the wrong direction, or my favorite, smash to the ground. These sabotages were simply getting our feet wet for what we would be doing later. Then, in February, we had enough of tiny, insignificant sabotages and wanted to target the Fuchsbergerfirma, or the Fuchs Construction Company, because they're building airport hangars for our occupiers. What we wanted to do is sneak into their headquarters and burn their important papers. And we did just that. One night, we snuck into their office, gathered documents, blueprints, and a portrait of Hitler's face, gathered them on a desk, and burned them. We then rode away on our bikes, and we looked back to see a little flame blossoming in their office. It's beautiful. Then, by May, we had committed many different acts of sabotage and welcomed a few new members to our club. Alfred Koch-Huber and Knud Hornbow had recently stolen 6 mortar grenades from a railroad station nearby. They didn't have anything to do with them, but we did. Our science people, which was my brother Jens and Mogen Fjerderup, decided to test them and found out that within the grenades were a magnesium disc that would explode when it was in contact with a lit match. We wanted to test them by blowing up boxcars at the Outlook Banagod. So one night, we slipped into the railroad yard and picked a boxcar each. Then we placed a magnesium disc inside and hooked a match in. Then, as we biked away, we saw flames erupting from the entire boxcar line and German guards panicking. The firefighters there were showing defiance by not putting out the flames until the German guards brandished their pistols towards them. Our country was starting to get their minds right. Then, in the days that followed, some bad things started to happen to our club. Eagle Fredrickson, one of our members, while crying, advocated for us to stop our sabotage activities because his mother was Jewish and he claimed that we were threatening his family's lives since Hitler, we all knew, wanted to Jews. But Jodorf and I thought that his claim was ridiculous, and since things were still the way they were, we still had to fight. And the other clubbers took his side. After an intense meeting of arguing, Burge and I left the meeting and slammed the door behind us. And even worse than turmoil is that we were arrested just a couple days later, and this is how it happened. May 6th, 5 p.m., a partner and I entered the diner cafe hole in bed right before their coat closet. We grabbed something from it, then we ran away as to not arouse any suspicion. Unfortunately, our actions caused just that. So much that when a German guard that has pistols stolen from the coat closet, complained to a waitress, also a Tennyson, she told him what we looked like, and she knew that if she saw us again, she would be able to tell the authorities that we were there. And that happened on May 8th. Helen, Jamila, and I were talking in front of the school when Elsa Tennyson was walking by and recognized us. Soon enough, our entire club was gathered around and sentenced to prison at Nyberg Statsfangel, or the Nyberg State Prison. A couple of years later, Jens and I were released, and we saw a wonderful change in our society. People knew how bad Hitler was, and there were many new resistance workers in our country. People finally thought like us, and we could be proud of our own country again. Then, on May 5th, 1945, we were finally rid of our Nazi occupiers because they had lost the war. They were sent back to where they belonged, out of our country, and the Danes finally had Denmark under their hand once again. And that's it. Thank you. Did you think that was good?
It was good. You knew your history, and that's the most important part. Okay?
Good.
Now you can breathe a little bit. Okay?
I want to know about the emblems on your lapel.
Oh,
Tell me.
so this is just like a Danish flag that my aunt bought me because she's very nice. This, however, has some history to it. During the Nazi occupation of Denmark, these were called King's badges, and these were worn in defiance against the Nazis as like a symbol of our rebellions.
So it's a badge that you could purchase or that they gave to you?
Yeah, you can purchase it at like marketplaces and stuff.
Got it. And it would signal that you were pro-Denmark or something versus
Yes,
pro-Nazis?
exactly.
Okay, understand. Cool.
And is it an original or did you make it?
We actually printed out like a version of it and like just taped it to my lapel. Cool, I didn't notice.
Where did you find the original to copy?
We just searched it up on Google.
Internet.
Actually.
Everything's on the internet anymore,
Well,
Juanita.
that's just cool.
Okay, so
It's really easy.
tell me, how did you come about this particular topic? I mean,
I
obviously
knew
it's
you were
not
gonna ask
super
me.
well known, so yeah, I'm just feeding it right to you here. Tell me why you chose this topic.
So my explanation here is also in my process paper,
Mhm.
but we had to do a little assignment by reading a Radiant Olympics book and like doing a little project about it in Mrs. Cussman's class. She's right there. And so I decided, oh my god, look, a World War II book I can make it about. I love World War II, yeah, history. And so I decided to do off that. I don't even remember what my first project was. Do you remember? I don't know. And in computer class, we were gonna make an animation or a game about something you learned. And I made an animation about this. Pretty cool, it's on Scratch. And after all that, I found out about NHD that we were doing, and I thought that was gonna be perfect because I already had something in mind. And that's why I did this, yeah.
Tell me how you think it fits with this year's theme of revolution, reaction, reform.
Yeah, this fits with the theme because minorities, like just some Danish schoolboys, rebelled against some really huge, powerful oppressors, and they revolted against them and rebelled, and I think that's why this fits with the theme.
Okay. When you were doing your research for this, what do you think surprised you the most? Like, what did you not expect to find when you were
a funny thing, when I googled Knud Pedersen, the first thing that came up was that he was an artist, which I think is not the most impressive thing he did in his life. I think the most impressive thing that he did in his life was this. So that's why I'm surprised about that out of anything really. And I think that another thing I'm surprised about is like how there's not much stuff about this, even though it's a really cool part of history. Not a lot of people know about it, and not a lot of websites do stuff about this.
The history of Denmark in World War II is not usually the top first page of all the histories of different countries.
That's
in World War
right.
II.
But that's okay, because we in NHD like obscure because we.
So how did you pick Denmark?
Because that was what the book in the Reading Olympics list was about. It was about specifically this. So that's what I made it about. If it was about any other country, I'd make it about any other country, but it just happened to be Denmark.
Okay. Cool. What do you think was the hardest part of doing this project? Like,
Easy. Memorizing my lines. That's been the entire thing.
I'm sorry, that was just kind of funny.
No, it's fine.
I hope you intended it to be funny because it was adorable. No, really. So, okay. Is there anything else you want to tell us about your project?
Not necessarily. Like,
Is that supposed to be a pipe?
yes, it is actually. I made it in reading class and I painted it at home. Do you like it?
And you held it like a pipe all the
Yeah.
time, so that was great.
Oh,
Do you
thank
know someone that smokes a pipe?
No, well, Knud Pedersen, he smoked a lot, so that's why I had this.
Oh, okay, alright. Well, you just did a really convincing job of holding a pipe.
Yeah, I don't know how I know how to hold a pipe, I just do for some reason.
Well, great job.
It looks
Thank
great.
you.
So,
Thank you.
thank you so much for coming today and presenting this to us.
Yes.
You know, you're gonna go to states, so that's good.
Wait, what?
You
You go
1 and
for it.
2 advance to states, so you will advance.
Wait. So,
First place, second place in any category had the opportunity to go to the state competition.
oh, we don't know when
That's
we
right.
got first.
There's only
Oh, there were only two!
I'm going to stage anyway.
Oh.
So you're going to state.
Oh my god.
It doesn't matter really because you're going to 2.
But yes,
but
we
it
would not
doesn't
send-
matter
we would not
that it
send
doesn't
anybody.
matter. I'm
We
going
did
to
not.
state.
Here's the things I will say to you just about states, just you name them all. I'm a former competitor, so I have been exactly where you are, and it was terrifying. Get as close to 10 minutes as humanly possible without going over. Like you
Okay,
really
cool.
want to use the whole 10-minute period.
How
And just-
long was my thing?
I'll
I
tell
don't
you
know
what,
where
I know the answer to that. It was 9 minutes and 11 seconds.
Okay, so you
That's
got
actually
about
pretty
45
good.
seconds, that's really good. Try
Really
to,
good.
like, practice it a bunch of times, try to, if you wanna add a little bit into it, like after the war I became an artist or whatever, I'm not gonna tell you how to do your project, but I'm gonna tell you that getting close to 10 minutes, as close as possible, but don't go over.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Like, if you go over by a second or 2, nobody's gonna care.
Right. Okay.
You know, make sure your bibliography is strong,
Okay.
because that's another thing that we've had to make. You know, when two entries are very similar, it's the
really good.
bibliography that breaks it. Remember, this is a history competition.
Yeah.
So
So,
performance is just a way to tell the story.
Cool.
So like you found that original flyer.
Yes.
That's
The
amazing.
the original flyer you found is a primary source
Yeah.
and
It is.
should be listed.
Yeah, it is.
I think
We did.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
But I think it just says scrapbook with blah, blah, blah. I would give them more.
Okay,
Oh,
okay.
We could do that in reading class,
Yeah.
like on Monday.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, just make sure that your bibliography is strong and separated appropriately to primary and secondary sources, that kind of thing. I'm sorry, I didn't know that you guys didn't know you were advancing.
What is a state competition anyway?
Well,
It's,
we'll
April
act
25th in
surprised.
Scranton.
Well,
It's April 25th and it's in Scranton,
Scranton.
at the University of Scranton.
Yep, I've been there twice before. It's
Oh,
very
okay, so
nice.
you know,
Yep.
so you've been through this competition
Yeah.
before, so you,
Not
all of the stuff
before.
that I'm telling you is not surprising.
Well, not for performance though. I haven't had students do performance
What do
before
we have
this
here?
year. Of the things that we progressed on were videos.
Okay.
So.
So, I've been judging for a while.
I'm a uniform historian.
I am a,
Costume historian, nice shoes.
Yeah, you did really well. I mean, those are very
And the
authentic to the
khaki-
period.
And the khaki
So
colored
good job.
t-shirt.
So, you know, whatever, just remember to have fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Work
Yes.
very hard,
Great job.
and no
States
matter
is
what
really fun.
happens at States,
It is
it
fun.
is so much fun.
When I get home, I am going to relax on my bed for the next 18 million years.
Okay. Okay.
I'm exhausted. This is actually
Get
really
him
fun.
a cotton
I'm
bud.
surprised how much positive feedback you
Yeah,
guys
shouldn't
have.
have
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
we don't usually
Like a
talk
dress
much
shirt
like
or
this.
like.
Maybe you know if you were
You
gonna do
know,
a
the
tie
scores
or
are
not,
already
so you think
in.
a tie.
So the way this competition works,
Is
here
that
at
what you
Foxconn,
were-
as you know,
But I would definitely do the cotton button-up shirt.
And
Sounds
we
good.
judge
Time
all
period.
that.
And tie,
We have an
look at some
opportunity
pictures of
to
the original guy and see if he was a
and
tie wearing guy.
feedback.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll work on that. Thank you very much for that.
Do have the option, just
Yeah,
for
he
performance
most
of
of it,
changing.
yeah, he did a great
Somebody
job.
was
Huh?
thorough, we really
He
felt
got
like
most of it. He had a very clear vision.
Have I,
Yeah, so he selected the
Have
photographs.
I
So
made
that's
this
important.
video?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or if you have like say
Thank you.
say.
I'll definitely do that.
What?
Yeah,
Have
all
I,
the little
have
details.
my
The-
skill
the
improved
thing,
since the
the-
video or decreased or stayed the same?
I couldn't honestly, I couldn't honestly say.
My
I mean, I
husband
think
is a
both
military
times it was
historian,
very clear
and
to
he's
me
totally
that
Danish.
it is
So
very
when I told him
important
about
we know
this
the history.
presentation.
And we know the lines.
Oh my goodness.
Because they will
The
take
whole
you to
story
United
is
States
mind-blowing.
if you
I mean,
go
it
there.
really was.
Like, that's
Yeah.
a
Oh, so they have
These young
script.
boys now, it's
Yeah.
really
not allowed
easy
to
to
use
learn.
it. No, we don't
Great.
know, but like,
And
what
if
we'll
he's
see is we will see
totally into
competitors
military
who are
history.
Reading the news.
There's an
Yeah.
organization called the
Clear that
Company
they're
of
scripting.
Military
Oh,
Historians.
that's
you know,
And,
yeah.
my
So,
husband
but
joined
I
when
mean,
he was
really just know the
14.
history.
He would love
You know,
that.
you really
We go to
and
East
understand that
because he
we're
loves
all
to
here.
look at all the.
Yes.
Tell me the name of it again.
We
It's
hope that no matter
Company
what happens,
of
that you come
Military.
back next year.
all right, I'll write it down.
Write down the Company of Military
I
Historians.
would love that. Thank you so much.
And, you get a journal and there's all kinds of articles about
Yeah,
all
next
kinds
year I
of
might
interesting
do it.
stuff.
You would love that. That's definitely
Yeah, and there's a nat conference once a year. This year it's in Saratoga Springs.
Oh,
It
that's
is.
cool.
It's very hard to be all by yourself and not have anybody.
Yeah.
And it's just a lifelong
You
interest.
did a great job.
And then you were organically interested in it.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah, so you just promote it, right? And these guys get jobs.
Yeah. That's
It's
awesome.
it's a career path.
That's so cool.
He would love to just learn all that. No, and the collectibles, he loves
Which
that.
left me
We
alone.
should,
I
my
love that.
I'm gonna
husband
be doing this project.
just
So I
retired, but
mean,
he was
like I
at the
said,
West Point Museum.
I like the way you use everything here, just make sure you're.
But, you know, anything we can do to promote this kind of
Yeah, have fun.
organic interest in something we want to do.
Yeah, yeah, and
Absolutely.
history's important, and he loves it. No, he's, I'm telling you, I learned more from him than I ever.
True, no,
This is
seriously.
really,
I've heard
his
it, but I've
interest
never
is
played it.
amazing. Oh, thank you. And the
We were tearing
that's
it up.
Or the 1940s, if you can't find it, actually, I'm probably not supposed to do this, I'll give you my email. It's not my email, it's my husband's email. So you're just, without anything to do with National History Day, you're contacting this military historian
Is the research.
who might be able to provide some.
Know the research.
Love that, thank you.
I'll just give you the military historian's email, write it down, okay?
Do you wanna type it in or write it down?
Yeah, his name is Les Jensen.
You know.
Jensen, Jensen. Okay, now his email is Les, L-E-S,
Oh, I got you.
A-N-D, Juanita, which is Juanita, 1, number 1, at
Kind of went and browsed them just.
hushmail.com.
Judge this thing off.
See, now this has nothing to do with National History Day, but if he were to contact this particular military historian and say that he did this project, this particular military historian could give him some help.